also sharing the screen. So let me share the screen so we remember exactly what we were doing yesterday. So give me a second. Okay, guys. So this is where we were yesterday. So yesterday, it was all about continuous forms, if you remember. So we were working on that, on continuous forms. We also talk a little bit about the importance of always spotting both form and function of words when we are analyzing a text or when we are trying to perhaps correct a mistake, for example. So it's always important to differentiate that, what the function is and what the form is, right? And that's perhaps something particular of English if we compare with Spanish, but because in the case of Spanish, morphologically speaking, the parts of a speech or the kinds of words tend to be different depending on what kind of word they were, right? So a verb in infinitive, we know it's a verb in infinitive, right? Because we know that all of them finish with ar, er, ir, for example. But in the case of English, it's not that easy. And there are some cases in which if you have a look only at the word, we don't know if it's a verb, if it's a noun, so it might be a little bit confusing. So we were talking about that as well. And then here in the grammar focus, we had a look at least 5 different cases or 5 different examples in which we may use any sort of continuous form. We also recommended you guys have a look at the grammar reference in case you had any sort of question about that. And we had a very short homework, which was just the exercise 5A, in which you guys would choose the correct options to complete these questions. So basically, it would be just to have a look at the sentences and then choose the right forms, right? Based on this explanation we had on the continuous form and so on. So that's it. So this is what we're gonna do, guys. We're gonna start by correcting the questions together. So we're gonna open the breakout rooms and you guys will go there. And number one, you will share your sentences and make corrections, like some sort of peer correction, if that's the case. So you guys are gonna help each other correct your sentences. And then you guys will answer the questions, okay? So you will answer each one of these 5 questions, and then when we come back here to the main session, we're gonna correct and answer those questions and do this listening exercises which are proposed in the text. Is that clear, guys? Is that clear, guys?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, clear.
Excellent. So once again, guys, you'll be able to choose your room. So we're gonna open 13 different rooms. Let me see. Yeah. So you guys can choose the room where you want to work. We're gonna take 10 minutes for this exercise, if that's okay with you. And then we're gonna come back here. Okay, guys, so let's do this. Okay, guys, welcome back. So let's see. Guys, this exercise is really important to to see, like from another example, let's say, on the differences of using continuous forms. So that's why I believe this exercise is extremely important. And as you'll see, there are some questions in which we actually have several options and I mean, at least 2 options, right? But that depends exactly on the intention of what you want to communicate. So we're gonna go over the questions, and just to start with the first one, just to start with the number 1, I would like the group number 2 in this case to help us, Felipe, John, or Lina. Which is the right answer in this case, guys? In the case of the sentence number 1. I'll
Well,
repeat the round. Yep, please.
Okay, go, Jan.
include what makes speech and
What
management.
makes? There you go. So let me see how can we put it. What makes? What? No. Give me a second. I think I will have to underline it instead. Yeah, that is the right answer. According to the review writer, what makes Fish a management training book with a difference? In this case, we only have one option, which is a simple presence, since we are talking about a topic in general, and we are not talking about something which is progressing in a specific moment. We are talking about a book, and in this case, of course, we would use simply the present form, the simple present form. Thank you, guys. Thank you, John. So we are going to, well, and by the way, let's answer the question. So according to the review writer, what makes Fish a management training book with a difference, guys? What would be the answer to that one, to the number one?
Well, teacher, that is basically how they work, how they put like enthusiasm in order to do a good job.
Well, yeah, that somehow shows or talks about how that fact, as Felipe said, the enthusiasm and the way they do their work has somehow revolutionized the way they manage their business, right? So how that point of the attitude itself has made a huge difference out of of their jobs, basically. That's essentially what they say. Thank you. So let's go with the number two. What did the market workers do, or what are the market workers doing to make their customers feel better? Number two, and I like to help us with that one, the group number 10, Angie, Daniela, Erika, Jasmine. Guys, number two. Blue, group number 10.
Yes, teacher. In this sentence, we put a what did the market workers do?
What did the market workers do to make their customers feel better? Okay, that is an option. And as I said, in this case, in the case of this sentence, both options are okay, but they would have very different meanings. So my question for you guys, I mean, that is right, but we could also say, what are the market workers doing? Both options are okay. So who knows what would be the difference between saying, what did the market workers do versus what are the market workers doing to make their customers feel better? What would be the difference in that case, guys, if we use either one or the other?
Because one is in past and the other one is present. They're continuing doing something to make their customers feel good, no?
Yeah, that's part of the answer. That is right, Diego. But if in general terms, if we say, what did the market workers do? In that case, we are talking about the story itself, you see? So, and that's okay, as I said, but we would be talking about just this story, just this fragment, just this experience, and which is acceptable. But if we say, what are the market workers doing? In that case, we would be talking about the situation in general, and we wouldn't be talking about just what's on the review, but what they normally do, what they actually do in that place. You see what they do on on a daily basis, basically. So in this case, guys, remember, both options are okay, but they would have a different meaning. With past, what did the market workers do? We will be talking about a specific situation, which is the situation described in the review in this text. And if we use the continuous form, we would be talking about what they do in general terms, what they do every day, about this not a specific case or situation, but what they normally do. So both options are good, but we must keep in mind the difference. And what would be the answer to that question, guys? What are the market workers doing to make their customers feel better? Who remembers that? Come on. Group number 10, perhaps? You guys have got the answer?
I put acrobatics. Acrobatics with the
Acrobatics.
food.
And that's it. That's the only thing they do, right? They do some acrobatics with the food, and that's it. I don't know. But I believe they do something else. Who knows that, guys?
We put they make a show with the in front of the customers.
They make a show, or they do, yes, they make a show in front of their customers. They do some acrobatics, which is right. They also tease, the customers a little bit, and they just, in general terms, do things to make the people feel better, right? They just want them to have fun, basically. Okay, let's go with the number 3, and I like the group number 3 to help us with this one, if you will, guys. Ana Maria, Diego, Valeria, would you please help us with the number 3?
Yes, teacher. Okay, what effect are the market workers wanting this way of working to have on their customers?
Okay, there is this is, I think, unfair, because there is an exception, guys. There are some verbs. There are some verbs in English that we cannot use with continuous forms, and that was not included in the grammar reference, and for some reason I forgot to explain that. Though, so there are some verbs. Let me remember exactly, because I don't know if they are called. I don't remember in this moment the name of these verbs.
I think state verbs, I'm not sure.
I think that's the name. Let me just double check. Yes, the stative verbs. Thank you very much, Lena, for reminding me that. Oh my God. So stative verbs. Let me just put it over here on the chat box so you can see them. Stative verbs. So if we Google that, let's actually Google that. If you Google stative verbs, I'm actually looking for that. I'm going to share a link with you here so you can have a look at it. So the thing with these stative verbs is that these verbs cannot be conjugated in continuous forms, and want is one of those. Another example is love, for instance. We cannot say, we can never use want in a continuous form. So I'm wanting to do something. No, it's like you want or you don't want, but you cannot specify a progression in such verbs, okay? So just because of that reason, in that case, the only answer would be this. Do the workers want, okay? Because want is a stative verb, so we cannot conjugate it. Nevertheless, of course, that's the rule, but we know that there are cases in which this rule is not observed. And I think last year we talked about this. What's the most famous example of a big American company not respecting this grammar rule? Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember that? There is
McDonald's.
there you go. What's the slogan of McDonald's? Yeah, it's McDonald's, but
Something with loving. Yes.
there you go. Yeah, the slogan of McDonald's is "I'm loving it." So that's not grammatically correct. I mean, we shouldn't say that. You see, I mean, we shouldn't say I'm loving it. You should say I love it, or I don't love it, but not I'm loving it. So that's not grammatically correct, but whatever, it's McDonald's, right? So they can do whatever they want with language, apparently. But no, we cannot conjugate stative verbs with continuous forms. Yes, Maria Alejandra?
Teacher, I'm lost about that state verbs. Like that verbs can be conjugated, but we can use it in continuous forms, or we cannot use it with that.
We cannot use those verbs in continuous forms quite often. So it's like we cannot use them with continuous forms, with ing, basically. Never, however, there might be some exceptions in which perhaps we could like it would make sense somehow. And once again, as we've said it before, language at the end of the day is is dynamic. So there are some cases in which you might say, like they are using it that way, but it wouldn't be normal or like grammatically correct. I just found a list. I just find a list of examples. Let me just show you this list of examples in which it might be a little bit more clear. So I'd like to know, guys, if you are seeing my screen now.
Yes, teacher.
Wait a minute. Anyways, so look, so for example, we've got a list here like agree, appear, believe, belong, concern, consist, contain, depend, service, agree, dislike, doubt, feel. So look, there are some cases in which you cannot use the stative, the continuous form. So she didn't agree with us. You don't say she wasn't agreeing with us. It appears to be raining. It is appearing to be raining. No, you see. So there are these examples in which you cannot use these continuous forms. This book was belonging. No. So every time it's not like you can never use them, because there are some verbs which are I mean, once again, we have to be very conscious, very aware of the form and function. So for example, this verb appear, in this case, appear, what kind of appear is that? You see, because in Spanish, we may have several verbs for one verb in English. So for example, just to give you an example with this one, appear, right? So in this case, this appear means parece, right? So the correct form would be, it appears to be raining. Parece que está lloviendo. Es parece, and that parece is not, it's a stative, so we cannot say it is appearing to be raining. But appear in English could also mean aparecer, right? So she is appearing. In that case, we can say it, you see? So it's like we have one form in English, right? Morphologically speaking, the way it looks, but it could have several functions. It could have several meanings, and we have to be very careful. Okay, we have to be very careful. The way we know this, the way we can see if we can use a continuous form or not, has to do more with logics than with the grammar. So it's not like we have a list, like in the case of the irregular verbs. It's not a list. It's like we have to think about the action and see if we can express it in a continuous form or not. You see? So for example, belong. You see, belong. This is not something which is continuous or not. It's like it belongs to you or it doesn't belong to you. It is as simple as that. Same thing happens with belief. You believe in something or you don't believe in something. You are not believing in something. You see? So I think in that case, the answer is logics, if it makes sense or not. Look at this example, for instance, contain. You see? So you say this box contains a cake. You don't say this box is containing a cake, because it contains a cake or it contains something different or it contains nothing. You see? Same thing happens with disagree. It's like you disagree or you don't disagree, which means you agree, but you don't say I am disagreeing with you. You see? So the only option here, the only answer has to be with logics. And the same thing happens with love or with want. You want something. You don't say I'm wanting something. That makes no sense. You see? That's what it means that the verbs are stative. They are stative because they are not something that progresses, but something which is true or which is false, and that's it. You get it, guys?
Yes, teacher. Thank you so much.
It is as simple as that. So it's not a matter of grammar. So it's not something like, oh, I don't remember the list of stative verbs. No. It's a matter of logics. If it makes sense to express it with a continuous form or not. That's what we would answer ourselves in that case.
It's like a matter of putting in a context, right?
Yeah, basically. basically. It has to do with context and also, as I said, because context will add answer, which is the meaning of the verb of the word. Just as the example of appear, you say that same word appear could mean in Spanish parecer or aparecer, and those are two completely different actions. You see, so you have to be very careful. Just as we said yesterday, form and function, we have to be careful. So it's like, because we see the word and we say like, oh, that means, for instance, if you see the word appear, that's parecer. Perhaps we have to see the context, as Felipe said. We have to see the context because we don't know exactly what that means. Okay, so the answer will be, what effect do the market workers want to have on their customers? And we know that they want them to feel happy and so on. So let's see, we're gonna continue with the number 4. Number 4, that's going to be the group number 8. Group number 8, could you please help us with that one? Group number 8, we got Ashley, Dylan, Johannet, Maria Alejandra. Group number, sentence number 4, please. You guys hear me?
Okay, me.
Oh, there you go.
We put, why did the businesswoman in the final paragraph? Why did the businesswoman the pickup place principles to her workplace? What happened after she did? But we are not sure.
So in the final paragraph, why did the businesswoman apply the PI principles? The other option would be, in the final paragraph, had the businesswoman been applying? No, yeah, it's why did the businesswoman apply? Because we're talking about something that she did in the past, and that action was, it's finished because she applied the principles. You see, she applied the principles, so which means that it is something which started in the past and finished in the past. So we would use simple past. So this one is right. And then we say, the options would be what happened or what was happening after she did it. No, it would be also what happened, as you guys said, because of the same reason. We are talking about two things that started in the past, finished in the past. So in that case, we know it is simply simple past. Okay, and what would be the answer for that? What would be the answer to the question number 4? Sort of something we discussed yesterday.
Okay,
Remember.
for that answer is like that she applied the pickup place principles in her workplace because she had been struggling with the negative work culture, and after she did it, she made a significant change to the motivation of her team.
Excellent, Ashley. Thank you very much. That's basically it. Great. So last but not least, of course, we're gonna finish with the group number 6. And you guys are gonna help us with the sentence number 5, if that's okay. Group number 6, we've got Diana, Laura, Magdalene, and Nicolas in the group number 6. So you guys help us with the question number 5, please.
The question number 5. Okay. Can you think of a situation where you have seen some of these ideas in practice? If not, can you think of a situation where they could make a difference?
Okay, great. Yes, that would be the right answer. Can you think of a situation where you have seen? If we used here have been seeing, it would be a little bit too specific. That makes simply no sense. We say, can you think of a situation where you have been seeing? No, it's like you are going too in detail, and that doesn't sound natural. So we simply use have seen because we are talking about something that perhaps you saw in the past, but you are still seeing these days. So it's a situation that started in the past, but hypothetically is still happening in the present. So that's why we are using have seen in that case. And what would be the answer to this one, guys? What would be the answer?
Well, go ahead, Diana, go ahead. Don't worry.
In some Japanese restaurants, the chef do a kind of acrobatics with the food, not only with the fish, but also with some food. We put that.
Yeah, that's right. Like there is this place, Daddy Jackie, right? For example, they do that. So you are in the front of this big platform. I don't know where they prepare the food and they do acrobatics. That is right. That is right. I just remember that as well. Okay, guys, thank you. Thank you very much for doing this exercise. As you can see, once again, it's a matter of context, it's a matter of practice, but at the end of the day, it's not just something like you need to memorize verbs, you need to memorize structures. The point here is to be very aware of the context in which you are communicating first. Second, you need to also think of the logics of the actions that you are describing, and always keep in mind the form and function of the words that are included there, because that might be very confusing in some cases. So guys, let me just stop sharing my screen, since now we are gonna go over this audio exercise. We're gonna go with 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. Let me put them over here. There you go. So let me share my screen again. So we share it with sound this time. So guys, this is what we're gonna do. They say, work with a partner, listen to the introduction to a business seminar. And one of you has to say, student A, why can change be a problem for workers? Student B, why can introducing changes be difficult for managers? That's basically what we have to do. But we are going to do it in a completely different way. Let me see how can we do this. This is the kind of things that when we have to work online, we need to like make a little pause and think of that. So let me see how we can do that. Now, you know what, guys? We won't do it that way. We will, all of us are we're gonna do this individually, and we are going to focus on both questions, okay? So we're gonna do that. We will not do that in pairs. So we're gonna listen to this introduction to a business seminar, and we need to spot the answers to these two questions. First, why can change be a problem for workers? Why can change be a problem for workers? And B, why can introducing changes be difficult for managers? At the end of the day, it's the same question, but directed to different kinds of people or different audiences, workers and managers. So we're gonna go with the audio 1.2. Let me know, guys, if you can hear it.
Audio 1.2.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's do this then.
Audio 1.2.
The management of change is one of the most difficult things for organizations to do well. Many people feel threatened by change, and fear of the unknown means workers often prefer things to stay as they are. Managers, in turn, are often anxious about communicating change. This may mean that they don't communicate appropriately, or that the team picks up on their anxiety and becomes nervous in turn.
Wow, so much truth in one single audio. So let's see, guys, if with this first try, we could, spot the answer. Let's focus on workers. Why do they say that change can be a problem for workers? You guys were you guys able to spot the answer?
Yeah, what I can hear is that they feel threatened by the change and they fear the unknown, so they prefer to things to stay the way they are.
Absolutely, absolutely right. Let me just put it over there. That there is a specific word that we need to be careful with. Let me put it here on the chat box. Threaten. Threaten, guys. What is the meaning of that word? Threaten. It's right there on the chat box. Threaten. What is the meaning? That's the most important word in that answer.
I think it's some kind of synonym for attacked, like they feel attacked by the change.
It's not exactly attacked. It is very, it's you know what? It's what happens before they attack you. So for instance, I don't know, like when excuse me.
You feel in danger, like in danger?
Yeah,
something
it's
like this.
something like that. Yeah, it's although danger, of course, is something way more serious, but I think we could say it's strongly related. So, for instance, if a person is talking to you and this person looks very aggressive, you feel threatened. He or she wouldn't be attacking you directly, but you feel threatened. So that means that when you feel threatened, you are feeling that danger is possible. Let's say that there is a possibility of a dangerous situation, so you feel that that is something negative, that's something you want to avoid. You see, so threaten. So that is right. We could say that change is hard or difficult for workers because they feel threatened. You know, when we are working and we know that we have to do something different, that we need to change the way we do our work, we immediately feel threatened. So, for example, just to show you one example, I've been working and that was serious, guys. That was very serious. I've been working for the British Council for like almost 4 years already. And because of the pandemic, like 2 months ago, they told us that the organization is having certain issues around the world and that in the coming 2 years, there will be several changes in the structures of in the structure of the company. So, around 10 to 15% of the of the employees of the company will leave the company. So when you know that there is a percentage of people that will have to leave, when you know that the structure of the company is going to change, that makes you feel threatened, because the first thing you feel is that they are going to that you are under a possibility of danger, as we said it with John. So you feel threatened, and that kind of make you feel very bad, you see, and you cannot focus, and it's a very serious thing. So every time workers know that there will be changes in the way they work or in the company itself, that would be the feeling. They feel threatened, right? Let's listen to the audio a second time, and this time we're gonna focus completely on managers.
Audio 1.2.
The management of change is one of the most difficult things for organizations to do well. Many people feel threatened by change, and fear of the unknown means workers often prefer things to stay as they are. Managers, in turn, are often anxious about communicating change. This may mean that they don't communicate appropriately, or that the team picks up on their anxiety and becomes nervous in turn.
Okay, guys. So in the case of managers, why change could be complex for them or complicated?
Because they feel anxious communicating change to the workers or to their
Uh-huh.
team.
Exactly, Diego. They feel anxious. They feel that perhaps they are not communicating things well. So for instance, they would just want to say that there will be some changes in the structure of the company in order to make it more efficient, let's say. But if they don't know how to say that, they might feel that as they say this, the workers are going to react in a negative way, right? So that's essentially it. Change is hard for managers because they feel that they will not share that information effectively, so they feel anxious. That's basically what they say. So what we're gonna do now, guys, we are going to listen to the next part of that seminar, and we have to note down the three general factors which determine a culture's response to change. That's very, very interesting. So we're gonna be having some sort of comparison in terms of culture regarding the way those cultures respond to change. Okay, so once again, guys, this is very important in the case of the international exams. There are some cases in which we will have to listen to big chunks of text. Let's say there is a listening exercise on this audio. It's a little bit long, or actually long, and they will play that audio just twice, and then there will be several questions based on that. So it's like, listen to this audio and then answer the questions. So in that case, guys, this is the key. The key is noting down important information. So every time you hear a date you know, a figure, a number, or names, and you know, you need to try to note down general lists, try to capture as much information as possible, and then answer the questions. It's not just listen and try to memorize. It never works that way. You need to listen, but at the same time, try to capture as much information as possible, and then start answering the question. So this is going to be very important. So guys, we're going to listen to the audio twice, once again. We're gonna listen once, then we try to find, you know, ideas, and then we play it again, and we just answer the exercise. But remember, in the case of an international exam, they will just play it twice, and then you have to answer a number of questions. So that is, of course, way more challenging. Okay, guys, so let's go with the exercise 7A.
Audio 1.3.
People in different cultures do not respond in the same way to approaches to change management. Factors which affect the way people react include how much respect people have for power and those in authority, and the importance of the individual versus the group. Another key factor would be how people react towards uncertainty, not being sure what is going to happen. If managers fail to take these factors into account, they may find workers are highly resistant to change.
Okay, guys, let's see. So what are some of the answers that we could have in that case, guys? What are the three factors that are essential to understand here? The three general factors that determine that culture's response to change, guys. Were you able to catch any?
I think so. I got some, but I'm not sure. So let's give it a try. The first one, I believe, is respect to the authority of the person in power in the company.
Yeah.
The second one is like the relation between the individual versus the group. And the
Yes.
final, I think, is how people react to changes.
Well, number 1 and 2 are just perfect. Those are the two first factors. So once again, just for us to remember, the respect for power or respect for authority. Number 2, the importance of the individual versus the group. But the number 3, I think we can improve a little bit. So we're gonna listen the second time, and we'll see exactly what that is.
Audio 1.3.
People in different cultures do not respond in the same way to approaches to change management. Factors which affect the way people react include how much respect people have for power and those in authority, and the importance of the individual versus the group. Another key factor would be how people react towards uncertainty, not being sure what is going to happen. If managers fail to take these factors into account, they may find workers are highly resistant to change.
There you go. So there is a very important word, guys, to understand the third factor. I don't know if you guys were able to catch it. Which is basically the fact that people, workers, people in general, have the necessity of avoiding, and there is this word. You're so close. But in that
Uncertainty?
there you go, uncertainty. Yes, well, because uncertain is it's an adjective, and we needed here the noun uncertainty. So it's the third factor would be then the necessity of avoiding uncertainty. Remember that the other two factors were the respect for power and the importance of the individual versus the group. So what they say is that any manager that wants to communicate change needs to understand those three factors in order to do it effectively. That's what they say. So we're gonna listen to the final part of that seminar, as they say. And what we gotta do is to match each of the cultural groups, which is in this column 1 to 4, to what is important for them, A to D. Okay, that's what we're gonna do, just do this matching. So let's have a look at the vocab first. We got Anglo-Saxon cultures, which is in other ways is English speaking cultures, right? Scandinavia and the Netherlands, you know, Mexico, Russia, and India, and Germany and Austria. And the options are feeling their opinion is valued. I think we understand that. Respecting the professional expertise of the manager. You know what expertise is, guys? That word is so important to know. Expertise.
Like the experience, like a range of experience.
It's it's not exactly experience, it's a little bit different. Expertise has to do with the specific knowledge and skills a person has, you see. So for example, in my case, because of what I've studied and everything, regarding education and general terms, my expertise, I would say, relies on project management, on instructional design, and educational technology, for instance. That would be my professional expertise. But my expertise in, for example, English literature, is very low. So I don't have that expertise, you see? So that's what it means. So expertise is that specific knowledge and skills that a person has, okay? So which has to do with his or her academic and professional profile. So every person, as they progress and as they study more and they got more experience, they also shape their expertise, which I said is this combination of the knowledge and the specific skills every person has. So respecting the professional expertise of the manager, as I said, which means his or her knowledge and his or her skills. Knowing how to change, knowing how a change will improve their personal prospects. So what is prospects in this case, guys? How would you define prospects in this case? Because this word also has several, meanings, but in this case, what could be the actual meaning, guys?
It could be objectives or goals.
Objectives or goals.
Or what they want to do.
Not really. In this case, prospects has to do as a noun. Well, there are two nouns of prospects for prospect. So one meaning for prospect would be like the possibility or likelihood of something to happen in the future. So in that case, prospect would be more similar to possibilities. So if we say knowing how a change will improve their personal prospects, it's like knowing how change can give them better opportunities for the future, you see? I don't know how to say that in Spanish. That how do we say this? I don't know, like proyección profesional or like posibilidades, something like that, you see? Personal prospects would be like personal, like posibilidades profesionales personales. That's how I would translate it somehow. But prospect could also mean prospecto, right? Which is a person who is training or who is preparing to do something. See? So we say this is un prospecto de profesor, digamos. In that case would be a person who is training him or herself to get there. And the last one says having confidence in those in authority and receiving formal communication. So those are the options. So what we gotta do, guys, is to simply match the cultural groups with those ideas. So let's do this, guys. I'm gonna play the audio. Once again, remember, I'll do it twice.
Audio 1.4.
German-American psychologist Kurt Lewin, one of the pioneers of organizational psychology, devised a three-step model for the effective management of change. The first step, which he calls unfreezing, concerns explaining why things should be done in another way. This step is very important, and a particular approach may be more effective in one culture than another. In Anglo-Saxon countries, it's important to show how change will benefit the individual. If people can see that doing things a different way will help their career or bring a reward, they are more likely to respond positively. In Scandinavia and the Netherlands, people like to feel a high level of autonomy in their work and believe that they, not managers, fully understand their work. In this culture, consultation and decision-making by the team is very important. In countries such as Mexico, Russia, and India, people believe that the person at the top of the company has a good overview and can make the best decisions. Communication of change should also be done formally, through written documents. In Germany and Austria, the emphasis is on being an expert. An expert is believed to be in a position to define new directions. Therefore, anyone who wants to implement change must first ensure that their knowledge and expertise is recognized. It's not enough just being a manager. The next step in Levine's model is known as...
Oh, there you go, guys. So this time we're going to listen to it again immediately. We're going to listen a second time, and then we're going to simply answer each one of the options. So let's do it again.
Audio 1.4.
German-American psychologist Kurt Lewin, one of the pioneers of organizational psychology, devised a three-step model for the effective management of change. The first step, which he calls unfreezing, concerns explaining why things should be done in another way. This step is very important, and a particular approach may be more effective in one culture than another. In Anglo-Saxon countries, it's important to show how change will benefit the individual. If people can see that doing things a different way will help their career or bring a reward, they are more likely to respond positively. In Scandinavia and the Netherlands, people like to feel a high level of autonomy in their work and believe that they, not managers, fully understand their work. In this culture, consultation and decision-making by the team is very important. In countries such as Mexico, Russia, and India, people believe that the person at the top of the company has a good overview and can make the best decisions. Communication of change should also be done formally, through written documents. In Germany and Austria, the emphasis is on being an expert. An expert is believed to be in a position to define new directions. Therefore, anyone who wants to implement change must first ensure that their knowledge and expertise is recognized. It's not enough just being a manager. The next step in Levine's model is known as...
Okay, guys. So let's try to answer each one of the options. Let's try to make the matching here. Of course, when we talk about these kinds of things from a cultural perspective, it's kind of hard because we are generalizing necessarily. So it doesn't mean that it's true for all for these cultures completely, but it's worth being taken into account. So the first one, guys, Anglo-Saxon cultures, it goes with which one?
C.
That's right. It goes with C. So they say that for those cultures, knowing how change will improve their personal prospects is very important. We could say that for us Colombians, that's also very important, right? To know how a change can be good or positive. That's also very important. Number two, Scandinavia and the Netherlands.
A.
That is right. A, feeling their opinion is valued. That's very important. Number three, guys.
D.
D, that is right. Having confidence in those in authority and receiving formal communication. And of course, for the case of Germany and Austria, we've got respecting the professional expertise of the manager. Those would be the right options. Okay, guys, so I'd like to know if you've got any questions so far, if there is something that you perhaps would like me to highlight or something. I don't know if everything's okay so far.
Okay, thank you.
No problem so far. Okay, so guys, I believe we will skip this exercise 7C, which is just spotting if the sentences are true or false. So I think we are going to skip this one, and perhaps we should focus more. We should focus more on the exercise number 9, although that might be homework perhaps. Let me just give me a second, because I would like to speed up a little bit. Give me a second. So I'm not very sure if we should. Give me a second. As I check this exercise really quick. Let me see. Okay, guys. So this is what we what we're gonna try to do. This is 126. Give me a second. I don't remember all the pages. 126, 133. Okay. Okay, guys, this is what we're gonna do. We are going to focus now fully on the last exercise of this. Although this is something we could do, this is going to be homework, but I'd like you guys to have a look at the exercise first, so we make the groups for that day. So as you can see, guys, in the exercise number 9, let me share my screen again so you can see it. Let me see. So this is exercise number 9. So we are going to work in groups of 3. So guys, with no exception, we are going to try to make groups of 3 people. Otherwise, we are going to make groups of maximum 4 people. Okay, so groups of 3 or groups of 4, no more options. Groups of 3 or groups of 4. We try to make it that way. Although let me think. No, you know what? Just to make it better, so we don't have repeated information. Groups of 2 or groups of 3. Those are the 2 options. Okay. We only have those 2 options: groups of 2 or groups of 3. In case you guys have a group of 3, well, one of you is going to be the student A, the other one is going to be a student B, and the other one is going to be a student C. If you guys are going to work in pairs, one of you is going to be a student A, and the other one is going to be a student B. It is as simple as that. Okay, so guys, what you gotta do, first of all, we're gonna make the groups, of course. And once we have made the groups, we are going to go, each one of you, to these pages. So for example, if we are working, 3 people, one of us is going to turn to page 126, the other one 133, and the other one 139. So you guys are gonna go there, and there you will find the instructions on the exercise we're gonna do. This is going to be a mini presentation, something we're gonna present on Monday, and that's going to be the homework for Monday, for Tuesday, I'm sorry, because we have a long weekend, so sad. So that's going to be the homework for Tuesday. So that's all. That's all we're gonna do in this moment. We're gonna make the groups, and once you make the groups, I'll give you 5 minutes, guys, to check the instructions on the exercise, just to make sure that you understand exactly what the homework is for Tuesday, and then we're gonna come back here. Okay, guys? So we got in total around more or less 7 minutes, let's say, for you guys to both make the groups and go to your corresponding page to see the instructions. Remember that we only have 2 options. We have to work ideally in groups of 3. That's what we should try to get. And if we don't want to work in groups of 3, we can work in groups of 2. Okay, those are the only options we have, and I've created enough rooms so you guys can choose any of this. Okay, so make the groups 2 or 3 people, and then go to the corresponding page to read the instructions of this task. Okay, and then we're gonna be back here just to double check you understand the instructions, or I'll give you an explanation if needed. Okay, guys, so let's go. Okay, guys, so just for us to be super sure about what we're gonna do, what we're gonna do on Monday basically is a role play. right? So in that role play, each one of the groups is going to be playing the role of a company itself. So for example, I'm working with 2 other people. So we are 3 people in my group. So we are a company, and each one of us has made some sort of a market research in order to decide one country to where we would like to expand our business. Okay, so we are 3 people. Each one of you is going to present to make a short presentation on one of these countries using the information that we have in the book. So let me just give you the example. So for example, let's say I was a student A in my group, right? So I was assigned Japan. So it says, as it says here, the first thing I got to do is to look at the information about the country that I was assigned. So in this case, is Japan. So you guys will read this information, you will collect all that info, and then second, you have to decide what you're gonna tell the other members of your team, and you guys have to be prepared to talk for at least a minute. That's what they say here, and answer questions. So that means is that I will make a presentation to show this, to explain this to my team in at least 1 minute. So it's a minute of continuous talking and explaining all these different things. And then when I finish, so let's say I was in charge of Japan, so I presented, and then when I finish, I have to listen to the other. Hey, yo, my cat is just jumping around. So I need to listen to my colleagues from my company, right, as they present their countries, and then we gotta make questions, minimum 1 question to get more detailed information. Then when you guys finish, you have to decide together which country do you think the company should go. That's basically what you guys have to do. So how are we gonna do this, guys? My suggestion, as you guys have to deliver a presentation, I would like you to do it. You guys, the way I like you to do it would be using 1 slide. So it could be a slide, or yes, like only one slide, or it could be some sort of a infographic again, if you prefer that format. But what I'd like you to use in this case is 1 slide. So it's only 1 slide where you put all the information together. So you do this exercise on Monday, you present your slide, you talk about it, you do the exercise. Then at the end, you have to take notes of the reasons why you choose one of the countries. So that's an exercise we'll do in class. And when we finish, we will collect everything and we will upload it to Moodle. So that's the evidence on your work. It should be 1 slide per person. So for instance, in my case, as I'm presenting Japan, I will design 1 single slide with all the information I have. Okay, but we do the exercise together, which means that at the end of the exercise, we will upload basically 4 slides, 1 slide per person, and the other slide in which we will put the reasons why we chose any of the countries. You see, that's all we gotta do. So on Monday, we will upload these 4 slides in 1 single file to Moodle as the evidence of the work. Okay, that's how we are going to do this. I think 1 person has got a question. I think I just saw that 1 person had their hand up. So have you got questions about this, guys?
So teacher, our presentation is about when, well, we will try to
Convince, yes.
the other partners to invest in our country, in the country we want, in just 1 minute.
Yeah, that's pretty much how we're gonna do it. It's but as it says here, it says for at least a minute. It doesn't mean that it has to be in 1 minute. If you take a little bit longer, that's okay. But the presentations must be short. I say that they should go from 1 minute to maximum 3 minutes. That would be the top. You see, so that's it. So each one of you is going to try to convince the others. You guys are going to make questions to each other, and then you guys decide together on the country that you would choose, and that's it. Okay.
Okay, teacher.
That's exactly what we're gonna do. Apart from that, guys, there is another little homework that I'd like you guys to do. So let me just stop sharing here. This is not a big deal. It's just something I would like you to get familiar with. Let me see. Okay, guys, so I'm going to share a link with you right now. I will present it first. So you see exactly what we're gonna do. So this is something that has to do with the project that we will work on, okay? So as you know that our final product for this first term is going to be a simple business plan, right? For a project that you guys are gonna work on. But to get there, sometimes one of the problems that we could have when we want to come up with an idea is to think about the solution before we think about a problem, you see? So for instance, we want to start a business, and this business is going to be about selling clothes because I want to sell clothes. So okay, that's good. I mean, that's a good question, and that's a good starting point. But we could do a better job if we do a whole creative process behind. Give me a second. There is a question from one person in the audience who says, we have to convince them to visit the country or to buy in our brand. No. Remember, the group, the three of you are the same company. So you are a company. These groups are companies. And what you guys are going to do is to decide to what country expand your business. That's what you're gonna do. So the three of you are discussing which is the country where you want to expand the business. That is the role play. And if you got doubts, just read the instructions of the exercise again, because it's very clear regarding what's the objective. Okay, be careful with that. You are a company and you are discussing where to expand your business. It's not where to go for vacation. No, where to expand your business. So coming back here, guys, as we work on this project, we are going to go through a creative process in order to design that, or to come up with this idea of a business that we want to fashion, that we want to create, let's say. And to do that, guys, we are going to be using this format. It's a format they call a design thinking canvas. So what I'd like you guys to do, and once again, if we do it little by little, we are going to understand this a little bit better. So I'd like you to simply do three things. Number one, just to visit the link that I'll share with you, just to see what's there. So here, they will talk you, they will explain this format, which is here. It will tell you what it's inside and everything. But also, this is a website of a online application, which is called Mural. Mural is an application that we can use for working on formats and working on design canvas, and we can edit files and everything. So let me see if I've got my format here. Give me a second, guys. My computer is a little bit slow for some reason. Oh my God, give me a second. Well, I'd like you to please enter here and create your account, because you are able to create an account. And once you are here, you can start exploring the format. So let me see if it allows me to just enter my account, because for some reason it's not letting me do it. Let me see if I can enter. Oh, well, yes, I'm right here. So once you enter that link and you create your account, you will be able to explore formats just the way I've got it here, you see? So good thing is that you can see the format in detail, you can edit it, you can add text and so on. So it's like you can actually work on the format directly, okay? So that's basically what I'd like you to do, just to explore the format, just to get familiar with it. I also have, let me see. I also have the actual format in a PDF file. So I will also share with you so you guys can just see it from there. but that's it. I just want you to get familiar with it. I don't need you to do anything else with the format, just to get familiar with it. So once again, step number 1, to get familiar with this application, Mural. So I would like you guys to create an account here in Mural with the link that I'll share with you, that I'll actually share right now. So you will enter that link, and you will enter this link, create an account, and just explore the format. So in this app and this website, you have to do simply 2 things, okay? Just to explore the application and create your account, of course, and then explore the format. That's it. Just to see the elements, the components, how the format has been built. Okay, apart from that, let me see if I got the format already here, so I can also share that format with you. Yes, I got it. So I will share the format also, guys, on the WhatsApp group, but please don't get confused. It's the same format. The difference is, look, the format is now on the WhatsApp group. So the difference is that in this application, you can edit the format directly. You see, you can edit the format directly. So so you can write and change the size of elements and everything. But with the PDF file, you cannot edit the file directly from there. So step number 1, just enter the link that I share with you guys and create an account, right? That's the step number 1. And the step number 2, just to explore the format, which is the same format that I just shared with you on the WhatsApp group, just to see what elements it has, what kind of information it has there. That's the only thing I gotta do. I actually would skip the step number 3. The step number 3 is something we're gonna do on Monday, which is that we are going to be talking a little bit about this methodology, design thinking, that perhaps some of you know a little bit about it, but we're gonna be talking a little bit about that, so we know exactly how that methodology is going to help us design our product or idea for our business plan. Okay, so step number 1, enter the link, create your account. Step number 2, explore the format. That's it. That's for Tuesday. Yes, that's for Tuesday. That's the only thing we gotta do. So we've got the homework from the book, the one on the presentation. And then once you finish that, you just grab some coffee, you just grab something to drink, chilling, enter the link, create your account, explore the format, and we're good to go. That's it. Okay, guys, have you got any question about that?
No, teacher.
No,
any.
teacher.
There you go, guys. There you go. Let's see. So we are going to call the attendance, and then you guys are free, at least of this class. You will be dismissed, at least of this class. Let me see. Okay, guys, so let's do this. Gerson Abril,
I'm here.
Tatiana Álvarez, Laura Arias. Oh, okay. Laura,
here, teacher.
there you go. Laura Bermúdez,
Here, teacher.
Ana María Buendía,
Here, teacher.
Andrés Felipe Bueno,
Here.
Camila Bulla,
Here, teacher.
Erika Corredor,
Here, teacher.
Michael Cortés,
I'm here, teacher.
Tatiana Espitia,
Here, teacher.
Ángela Valeria Fonegra,
Here.
Miguel Ángel Forero,
I'm here, teacher.
John González,
I'm here, teacher.
Claudia Goyes,
I'm here.
Ashley Huesa,
Here, teacher.
Diego Llano,
Here, teacher.
Daniel Machuca,
Hello, teacher.
hello, Mr. Johanet Martinez,
Present.
Nicolás Medina,
I'm here, teacher.
Clara Monroy,
Present, teacher.
Alexander Mutis,
Present, teacher.
Camila Navarro,
Here, teacher.
Magdalene Ojeda,
Present, teacher.
Dylan Paez. Dylan Paez not in the house. Diana Marcela Palacios.
I'm here.
Lina Rodriguez.
Present, teacher.
Angie Rodriguez.
Here, teacher.
David Torres.
Here, teacher.
María Alejandra Triana.
Here, teacher.
Diana Baloyes. Diana Baloyes is not here. And Wendy Vega. There you go, guys. So once again, guys, thank you very much for your time. Do not forget homework. Homework is important. Also, do not forget to drink water. Water is important for your body. I'll see you on Tuesday. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
too.
teacher.
Bye.
Thank you, teacher.
Yeah.
Enjoy your
Bye.
weekend.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye, teacher.